What's going on, everybody? This is Al from PlaybookGamer.com, and today we're going to look at the run and shoot playbook in College Football 25. There are only 2 run and shoot playbooks in the game. Hawaii has their own run and shoot playbook, and this one is the generic run and shoot. This one has some of the old school mixed in with the new school. We're going to go over the formations and concepts and play types and personnel, and hopefully by the end of the video, you'll have a good idea of what this playbook is all about. Now, when we're thinking run and shoot, we're thinking 4 wide receivers, guys going down the field, running a lot of option routes. This offense has been around for 40 years at least. It's very fun. It has its own challenges. If you are unfamiliar with option routes and there's just so much of it, you just got to hope your receivers make the right routes and such, but it's going to be a whole lot of fun. So let's just dive right on in. Let's start off with formations. Now, it starts off with the shotgun formations. You're going to see nothing but pretty much 4 wide and 10 personnel looks, but this is spread slot close. 18 plays there. It's a 2x2 look. And then we get into spread. This is the traditional. This is probably where you would start if you want to get into the shotgun run and shoot. Then you get into flanker close, 9 plays there. And then we get into trip. So the run and shoot offense, it's pretty much going back and forth between 2x2 and 3x1 looks, as you see right here. This is trip slots close. Then we got basic trips with 18 plays there. And then we got trips halfback weak, another trip set, 3x1. And then we got 1 5-wide formation if you need it. There's 15 plays there. So that is your entire shotgun formations. Now we can move on to pistol. This is a little bit of a new addition. I don't know if Hawaii runs a ton of pistol. This is not their playbook specifically, but I'm just saying they're like the only team out there that runs this any of these. But we do have some pistol in here. So you got 18 of there, but look, it's a 2x2 look. It's spread. Then you got trips open, 18 plays. So you got your 2x2 and your 3x1, and that's it for your pistol, but that's all you need. You don't need a lot of different formations in this offense. And then you get to your old school, the single back stuff. This is back when Warren Moon and the Houston Oilers, now they kept their slot receivers a little more close to the line and such. But if you want to think under center, the 90s, the Houston, the Cougars, Andre Ware back in those days, this is what they was running a lot of. So you got trips open and you got spread, and that's it. So there's no difference between their pistol and your single back. It just depends on what you want. Do you like your quarterback under center? Do you want him in the pistol, or do you want him in the shotgun? Either way, a lot of the concepts we're about to go through is in all of these. Okay, and that's it for the entire playbook. You got your goal line, and there's only 9 plays there. Most playbooks in this game just have 12. But this one has 9, and then you got your Hail Mary and such. So this is one of the smallest playbooks in the game. It's very specific in what it's trying to do, but it has everything you need in order to run this offense. So let's go look at personnel. This is very interesting. So you start at the very top, and it's very limited. So the last video I done was the Army option playbook, and there was like 7 different types of personnel groupings. This one is like 1 or 2. So you got your 32 personnel. You don't have one. You got your QB kneel. Your 23, that's your goal line. Your 21, that's your clock management. Your 11 personnel, you have 1, and it's out of single back. It's a single back spread. So number 89, I think, is the tight end. And then your Hail Mary. And then 90% of your playbook is your 4 wide, your 10 personnel look. Okay. So it's just hardcore to the bone. This is what we do. We don't really divvy from the 4 wide look. And then you got your 1 empty formation if you need a 5 wide receivers. Okay. So now let's look at the concepts. This is what it's really all about, how to actually move the ball and such. Let's start off with the run concepts. Now go back and look the play count. You got just 34 runs, 7 options, 13 quicks, 70 mediums. Again, it's not a very big playbook, but let's start off with the runs. Counter. You only have 4 of these. You have 11 draws. This makes perfect sense. Run and shoot is pretty much passing like 80% of the time. So any pass-heavy offense is going to have a lot of draws, where you have plenty of them here with 11. You have 7 inside zones, and then you have 1 ISO. Then you got 3 counters. You got 5 powers. This is your quick base type stuff. It's just a pulling guard of some sort. Then you got a sweep, just 1, and you only got 2 traps. So your entire handoff run game is going to pretty much be inside zone and draw, pretty much back and forth. If you think about it, you're spreading the defense out as good as you possibly can, minus like veer and shoot type stuff, but you're going 4 wide. It just makes sense to go up the gut to thwart their too high looks and such if they're giving you a light box. And the best way to do that is to run between the tackles, just in around and through there. And you can do that with inside zone and draw, and that's all you really need. Your run game is going to be very simplistic, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's look at option. Guess what? There's not much in here. You got one speed option, which is technically a load. You got two read options. You got that same speed option. You got one RPO and 3 RPOs technically. You got 1 peak and you got 2 alerts. So if you're an RPO guy, do not run this playbook. If you're an option guy, do not use this playbook at all. Again, you're not going to use hardly any option. It's just not part of the offense. It's just not really needed, but there's a little bit in here if you just feel like you got to use it. Okay, now let's go to quick pass. There's not much here. You got 1 Omaha, you got 7 slants, and you got 5 sticks. So this is kind of normal and just in terms of distribution among many of the playbooks we've looked at. Usually going to be half of them are going to be stick, the other half's going to be slant. Just pick the one you like, or both if you're really good at both. Now let's go to the mediums. This is where we're starting to get into some of the actual run and shoot concept stuff. So choice. This is what people first think of when they think about the run and shoot. A lot of option routes and choice. If you notice back here, choice, it's at least one route with multiple options. So I'm going to go back to choice, and you notice like with hook, you got 1, 2, 3 routes that are option routes. You look at curl flat, you got 1, 2 there. You look at slide, 1, 2, 3 there, and you keep on going. There are 26 of these. So I'm going to go ahead and just like pick one. We're going to go with slide. This is kind of like their curl flat in a sense. Now, forgive me if I don't make this look good, because option routes, you just never know where you're going to get in this game. But let's see if we can make something going. He's wide open. We'll just go over here, pick up some easy yards on that one. So you go back and look at this. When it comes to slide, this is a very typical, common concept in the run and shoot. It's kind of like a curl flat sort of on one side, and you got a choice route on the far left, and then you got another option route up the middle. It just kind of decided what you want to do. Can you get there? Nice little throw. The only downside to the run and shoot is it takes a while to develop the routes. You need good pass blocking. You just noticed on that last play, it took a while for me to throw it to that guy. But if you can get him there, it's great. Okay, so this is pretty much the base of your offense. A lot of option routes, and it's all choice. So when you think choice, a lot of it's going to be that X receiver, the one on the far left. So here's X choice. Then you got choice special. Then you got streak. You got just one choice or option right there. But you keep on just going through here. There are a ton of them. Again, 26 of them. It's just going to take a lot of practice to get used to these option routes, and you got to hope that these receivers know which route to go to against certain coverages. Somebody can confirm with me, like we'll go with X choice here. We'll go up against dime again. Somebody can confirm this. I have not played enough with this playbook to tell you if these receivers are just solely going by their awareness and how they know which route. So you look at the X receiver on the left. He's got an out, a fade, and a post. I'm assuming the smarter that player is, he should know what to do. So if you see like a too high look, he'll probably run the post. If you see the corner off of him, he may go with the out route. If that corner's on a bump and run, he may do the fade. So here, what I'm seeing, I don't see hardly any safeties other than on the far right. So this tells me he should probably either do the fade or the out, just because of that corner is so far off him. Let's just pay attention to the receiver on the left and see what he does. I'm not going to throw it to him. He goes with a post. Now, why he went with a post, I maybe because there was no safety over the middle. I don't know. I think he had all 3 routes were available. Anyway, it's just something you have to get used to. And again, you got to hope these receivers know what they're doing. But either way, 26 choice concepts. Now we go over to curl. There are 9 of these. Pretty much any type of hitch or a curl is going to be right here, but they got different names for them. 14 hitches. You got a switch, curl flat. You're going to hear the word switch a lot in this video. Levels, curl flats. You got more curl flat. You got a fade smash. And you notice a lot of these plays are going to be doubled over in some of these concepts. You got 2 drives. You got 13 levels. So this is a very popular concept in this offense. So levels is pretty much a dig with a drive or with a drag underneath it going in the same direction, as you see pretty much with H replace. So you see with H replace, you see 3 routes technically. You got a dig and you got 2 dig or ends underneath it. So we can go ahead and select that one as an example. Go over here. This is a trips look. At this point, I'm pretty much just going to focus on the right side, just see if I can make this look halfway decent. He's wide open right there, the hitch. Going to pick up some decent yardage there. And if they're going zone, you just got to hope these receivers can hit in their right holes and whatnot and get open and such. But anyway, very fun stuff. And there's plenty of it in here. So you got 13 levels. This is Peyton Manning's favorite concept, if you're a Peyton Manning fan like me. All right, mesh, there's only 3 of these. That's kind of, I fully expected that. Mesh is more air raid. You got 1 pivot. You got 2 shallow cross. This is technically the play action, and there's actually some play action in here, as much as passing as we got. But this is their go-to play action concept, PE wide receiver in. That's because you got that switch concept on one side with a shallow cross on the other. Then you got slot cross, just one of those. You got 12 smashes, but look at these kinds of smashes. You got Z read. You got 1, 2, 3 option routes, but the Z read is your highlight. So I guess you can just pay attention to him first. Then you can probably go from right to left in terms of your progressions. But look at the combination of that Z read on the far left. You got your switch concept, but you got a digs underneath it. Just really wild stuff. And then you look at you got a middle screen that complements that. Incredible looking play right there. Then you got a switch smash, and you just keep on going. It's kind of the same stuff over and over again. High-low. This is typical bench. That when I think of smash, this is what I think of. But in that run and shoot, it gets a little more funky, as you can tell. And then you got 1 spot at a goal line. Now let's go to deep pass. We got 8 comebacks. So any time you find a comeback route, it's going to be in here somewhere. As you can see, a lot of this is off play action. Then you go to dagger, only 2 of those. You got 2 divides. You only got 1 double dig, 1 double post, 2 floods. That's very low, not for the run and shoot, but for other playbooks we've seen, this is a really low number. And then we get to the vertical stuff. You're going to spend most of your deep ball stuff in time with verticals. As you see, we got streak, we got 590 Texas. I love that they are renaming these perfectly and correct as they've done in the past. You got streak. This is another way to do verticals. Most people, when they think vertical, they probably think of gun trips all go, where you see those 4 just kind of doing their thing. But then you get into some weirder ones. You get the streak right there. You get to the option route version of these. You got an X option. You got more all go. So I'm going to go ahead and pick one. I'm going to pick this streak just because it looks cool. We'll go over here. We'll just do something random against dime. So here I'm looking at a 2 high look for the most part. I see the corner on the left that's off about 8 yards. I'm just going to read the safeties, and I'm just going to assume our highlighted receiver, the slot on the left, will probably run a post if they split the 2 safeties. So if we snap that, that looks like they're going cover 3. And I'm going to get sacked. I really didn't see anybody open, and I've never really used that play before. But either way, you get my meaning there. A lot of verticals. You got 12 of them, and that's not all of them technically. If you go to the go concept, this is true run and shoot right here. This is their version of the verticals. So you may be doing more go than verticals if you want to stick to the original run and shoot. So you got go, return go, you got a little pre-snap motion, but it's still the kind of the same thing. Notice that a lot of it is trips based. That's one thing to kind of pay attention to. If you're going to run a lot of trips, you're probably going to be using go more than often. You got return go swap. Then you got a 60 go. Then you got a go right there. So there's 10 of them there. So if you want to go deep, I suggest you start here. Then you may want to work over to your verticals. Then you got 4 meals. You got 2 Portlands, and you got switch. This is the other big one. So run and shoot. Everybody knows you're chucking it deep a lot. It's going to go between your go, your switch, and your verticals. And this is where the bulk of this is going to be at. So you got Z read, halfback middle screen, and 14, all these weird names. Switch smash, switch streak. Then you got hitches. Then you got more switch smash. So if you notice, the most common theme here is the switch combo on the left, like with switch smash and switch streak. It's a bunch of it that is in here, but there are 18 plays of these. And when you think run and shoot, you think of that combo. I'm going to do flank or dig just because it gives me a nice little combo with inverted levels on one side with switch on the other. So it looks like they're going with the 1 high look. Can I go over the top? I'm going to get hit. We can try that again. What I'm looking for here, I'm looking at the 2 safeties. Let's see what they do. Looks like they're going cover 1 again. I'm going to try to go over the top, make an aggressive catch. Oh, it was a good try. Either way, that's pretty much what I was going to do, is pretty much just work from the switch over to the right side. But anyway, a lot of good switch stuff. So you go back and forth between your go, your verticals, and all these variations of switch. Okay, so all of the main passing concepts of the run and shoot are in this and in spades. And there's not many different concepts you need to keep track of. And the reason for that is because there's so many option routes. Play action, of course, we know there's more than one play action play in this playbook, and we'll check that out here in a minute. And it says there's 5 screenplays, but there's actually more than that. But you got 4 bubbles, and you got 1 flanker screen. But let's go over to the play types. Let's start off at the very top, go to pass. So you got your quick passes. What I want to go to, though, is right here, play action. You got 17 of these, and you kind of notice a theme with a lot of them. You either got your switch concept on the right, like PA wide receiver in, or you got more PA wide receiver in, more switch. Then you got more comeback. This is when you're going to do any play action. You're probably going to need to do some switch or some comeback of some sort. But you got 17 of these. Use play action if you're going to run the ball at least some. Otherwise, there's really no point. You might as well just do drop back for the most part. Now let's look at the screens. They got 9 total, but majority of these are going to be these halfback slip screens. There's that halfback middle screen, the wild looking one. Then you got the slip screen. You got another slip, and most of these, again, more slips. But you got a couple of wide receiver screens if you need it. And then you got your 3 typical Hail Mary plays. All right, so we went through all the concepts and play types and formations. I'd actually want to go back and just kind of give you, I don't know if this is good advice or not. If you want to really adhere to the run and shoot playbook, where I would start is first deciding what you would like to do in terms of where you want to put your quarterback at. So if you got a really weak offensive line, you may not want to do much single back because you're going to be under center. It's up to you though, but you have enough there. Maybe you want to do pistol. Maybe you want a nice blend between shotgun and single back. Or if you wanted to go with the June Jones way of doing things, stick to mostly shotgun. So if you want to go old school, go single back. If you got the line for it, pistol if you want to do a little mix of everything, or just go strictly shotgun. I suggest you use all 3, work to your personnel. And then from there, I suggest you just pick a couple of formations, the typical ones, in this case, like for out of shotgun is spread, and then you probably pick a trips formation, probably like basic trips or maybe halfback weak. And you go back and forth. So let's go the spread, and you pick the concepts that you feel most comfortable with, because I'm just here to tell you, option routes are just tough. I've said this several times already in the video. You just don't know what you're going to get sometimes. But you go through these, you go find the most popular concepts we've just covered. In this case, it's going to be your switch, your go, your slide, your choice. And that's kind of it, really. There's like only 6 or 7 you really got to keep up with. And then you complement all that with a run game. And I suggest you run a little bit more than usual. So like, for example, I'm going to go and select halfback draw. We'll go up against dime. And you're going to see a lot of too high looks, but this is, you got 6 guys in the box. So when I see something like this, I'm going to go probably do an audible, and we'll probably do, I don't know, we could probably go all go probably. I'm seeing a 1 high look. We'll do something like this. Let's see if this works or not. Going to get that almost picked off right there. But what I was referencing to, see, there's 6 guys here. And either way, what I suggest, whenever you see a 5-man box, I suggest you run. In this case, you may not get a whole lot out of it like you saw right there. But I would treat your draws as like audibles, as you see right here. Now we got a little bit of a lighter box, and we can cut up field and pick up some yardage and whatnot. But other than that, just throw the ball a lot. That's the whole point of why you would pick this playbook. You want to throw it deep. You like using option routes, and you want to stick to the real run and shoot old school stuff. You got your switch, and you got your smash, and you got your go, and your slide, and your choice. And I think you're going to have a whole lot of fun. It's just going to take a lot of practice. All right. Hope this was helpful, and I'll talk to you later.